We are back. And there's so much to tell you, so much to describe, so much to go into detail, anentent regarding. I am awash in information, as I discuss with you so very much, so much of what I have seen. And I've got to tell you something. With so much to go, I am preparing feverishly for Saturday night. I don't even know if I can wait until Saturday when I appear at the Cutting Room in New York. I don't know if I can physically, mentally, actually contain myself. I may just break down the doors now and hit the stage even though no one is there at the moment, because there is so much to say. And I want to remind you and say to you again, dear and glorious friend of the show, that we will be ready to go like you cannot believe this coming Saturday. I can't believe it's here. Doors open at 6. I hit the stage at 7 for something that we frankly do, well, that nobody does, and that is completely immersive and representational, where you, the, how do I say this? Where you, the audience member, becomes a part of the participatory discussion of this, if that makes any sense. I've got it pinned for you right now. I'm going to tell you this again. This coming Saturday at the fabled, storied Cutting Room in New York City. Tickets are available. I want to see you there. New York is open and ready for business, and we have already a line of, I'm not going to mention who, I think it's fair to say this, but some people whose names you would recognize will be there as well. So you never know who you're going to meet, because frankly, there's nothing like this. Mrs. L and I happened to go to the West Coast, to Southern California. Had a lot of business to do and enjoyed a complete and total look at a different part of the country that is incredibly and wildly similar, yet monumentally atypical to everything. And if you are going to go to learn about America, and you have to find two places to find out where can you go to find out what Americans are like, not America, but Americans. Where do you go? Well, one place you might want to go, which is critical, is the mall. Why? Because it's an assemblage of places, not sports stadia, but the mall, and more importantly, airports. Airports are the most fascinating collection points for people and places and areas and things that I frankly just cannot describe. I cannot describe how incredibly wonderful they are. You get to see people not only showing up, but you get to wait. And when you wait, depending upon where you are, JFK is an international, is an absolute magnet, a magnet of people from all over the world. It's huge. But you get to see where people will wait for coffee. They will wait interminable amounts of time for coffee. You see what they talk about. You see what they say. You see they talk as though no one can hear them. Because for the longest time, many of these folks have not dealt with any form of communication with other people. other than their own, how do I say this, their own, I don't know what the word is. They haven't dealt specifically with their own voices vis-a-vis others, because they've been on the phone for a long time. They don't know how, they're not really communicating with other people, so you get to see them. When you're on the plane itself and you're traveling long distances, you find out how people maintain their area. Are they sloppy? Something happened which you might not think anything of this. People who take their shoes off, socks, walking around barefoot on a plane, in the bathroom. Oh, no, dear God, no. You also see the level of airline elegance as it used to be. What's the word? There was a time when I was, for lack of a better word, when I was, how do I say this? We used to look at it and used to ask things like, what did they give you? What did they give you? What was the what did you eat? Remember that one? What did you eat? What did they serve you? What did they serve? Yes, what did they serve you? What did you get from them? What was your food? And you would dress up. And the idea, there was a time when stewardess, which I think is a term which does not have any relevance or any currency today, stewardess became flight attendant, and when everything became deregulated, when everything lost all of its charm or whatever it was, then you saw individuals working who were very, very good, because remember, what their main job is not to be, this isn't some runway model, but to assist in the event of an emergency. That's really what they're there for. That's the sole reason. This cookies and all this stuff is another story. I asked somebody for peanuts, and they said, well, we don't do that because of peanut allergies. I said, well, wouldn't? And I stopped right away, because I watch enough videos to realize, don't mess with these people. Sometimes they're very tired, and they may misinterpret what you're saying as some kind of recalcitrance. So I said, why wouldn't somebody with a peanut allergy not get peanuts? But I let it go. Let it go. Doesn't matter. It's not important. It's not critical. Now, what's interesting to note as well, is that you see people who are involved in behaviors that I cannot believe. Let me give you an example. We were sitting at JFK. This is the one that I could not believe what I was seeing. We were sitting at JFK just waiting, kind of charging up. Because to me, life is one big charging station. And this one particular airline, I'm not going to mention it, you can charge at your seat, which is a nice little addition. Okay. But in the meantime, a mother, a son, and a daughter. Son, large young man, 6'2", 300 pounds, big, could have been a linebacker, who was staring off, not looking at his sister or his mother. The mother, dutiful mother, trying her best to please her spawn, bought bagel sandwich, or bagel, as they say in Philly, bagel sandwich with whatever. Apparently, the young man did not like this, so he just looked off and ignored her without any reference, just ignored her. The daughter in the middle, and I'm looking at this, we are sitting this far away. I'm sitting right in front. They didn't even notice me. I'm listening. I'm just, I don't have earphones in. I'm listening to them. The woman, the daughter in the middle, says, there's no cheese on this? I could slap you. And this mother was saying, well, honey, that one had me going for I thought, dear God. And this is representative of a far greater problem. I saw people walking around with the most unique fetal positions when they sit in a seat, knees up, almost rocking. Some masks, some not. Some masks below the nose. I don't understand that. And a veritable panoply of the human form, the likes of which I have never seen in terms of, I don't want to use words, I don't want to say things like, there we go. Okay, very good. I think this might be better. This might be better. There we go. All righty. All right, my friends. Let's see if that does something. Maybe not. Maybe not. Do you see me on there?
I can't even get online.
Okay.
Now I see it.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Ah, yes, my friends. That's another thing, too. One of the difficult aspects of everything that we've been going through, as you can imagine. You can or cannot? Okay. 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 Stand by. This is the part where I tend to lose my mind, as I did over the weekend. Let me see. Okay. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. You can see me, huh? It's interesting. Because I am looking at this, and I made all kinds of different adjustments to everything over the weekend. It was because of, you can imagine, the VPNs and the like. Let me see here. This looks good. This looks good. Please forgive me. My apologies. Let me see something here. Let me see if this makes any sense. Okay. You see any movement at all? Because I can't even get back to my oh Lordy. Oh Lord. Let's see here.
Well, I see you fine.
That is the oddest thing I've ever seen. This is another story.
People are saying it's fine.
Okay. That is the odd. Listen, if you're saying it's fine, that's terrific.
5 by 5, everything is fine.
Wow.
I can see and hear you.
Good for this is great. This is odd. You can see me. I can't. Okay. Terrific. Far be it from me. Far be it from me to in any way disagree with you. But as I was saying, when we were walking, when we were going through the airport, I did not see any confusion whatsoever. I saw an absolute lack of any kind of, dare I say, cacophony of humanity. There were no delayed anything. There was no fighting. There was no much of anything. But I just love to see, and I get such a kick out of it, and I'm so fascinated by how people are involved in this thing called travel, and how I get to sit there among all these others. Now, in the meantime, as I still try to retoggle and reconnect myself to you, we're going to get back today, and I'm going to get back to what I was doing, back to where I was. Try to get myself, my system. Let me just leave it this way: my dare I say, my system. I don't want to go into too much into detail here, but whenever you are indeed traveling, there is this thing that happens to our system. And I have found that if you have been anybody who has ever been in the business where you had to travel, my heart, my respect goes out to you completely. I don't know how people do it. I could not imagine flying to Australia. Could not imagine. 20 hours, 30, could not. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. And there's something about also going to an airport. I know you don't care about this, but I'm just going to tell you nonetheless. When you show up and they say, do you have Wi-Fi? Oh, yes. And I put on a little speed meter. It's like 2 megabytes, 2 megabits per second. 2, I thought 70, 80. So we went to a friend's house. I said, do you mind if I use your computer? Of course. Do you mind if I use this? Of course. 600. I almost cried. I almost wept. I said, wait a minute. I'm an adult male, and I'm crying over the speed of this. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't in any way know even how at this point to say my life has been relegated to VPNs. Oh, that's another story. Be very careful when you're traveling in public. But speeds, chargers, what happened to my life? What happened to my worth? What happened to? This is, I guess, where we are right now. So, in any event, I want to thank you very much. It was, put it this way, if I was prone to anxiety, if I was prone to any kind of, if I was prone to mental breakdown, it would have happened multiple times. Because I realized, and I've done a lot of assessment, my own regularity. I mean, in terms of my terms of procedure and pattern. This is what I believe in. I wanted to tell you that when I don't get the chance to see you and speak to you, when I don't, it's something that is just incredible. I've also had the chance to watch what is out in the world on YouTube. And I have never, ever been as fascinated by what captures the attention span of the majority of people. What captures the attention span of the majority of the people from, well, put it this way, in toto. There's something, I don't know if you've seen this, I'm sure you have. Stop me if you've heard this. And there is this wonderful, this ASMR notion, this autonomous sensory meridian response. And I love this. It's a term which I think is used, I think it was actually coined by someone somewhere. Anyway, and they have these videos that basically amount to nothing. So at night, I have various loops. I listen to, maybe an audio book or a lecture, and sometimes in the dream it will incorporate that which I'm listening to. I came upon something the other day. I don't know what this is. I might or might not reference it. I don't know, but it is a woman who is whispering. Now, as I'm in a different place, in a different bed, in a different town, in a different everything, different schedules, 3 hours, everything's. I'm up at, I get up very early to begin with, so I'm getting up basically at, 4 o'clock here, it's 3 o'clock, so it's nuts. But during the course of my slumber, I'm hearing this. I want you to know that the perfection quotient of life. I don't know what this is. It sounds like a like some kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, some kind, dare I say, of some, it was almost like a hostage video. It was the weirdest, it was the strangest thing I have heard ever. And they talk like this. So I'm listening to Gore Vidal talk to Noam Chomsky, and then the next thing you know, I'm still, as you know, fascinated by belligerent watch appraisals. This is the greatest show there is. Who thought of this? I had a friend of mine years ago who lived in the UK, and he, at the time of VCR, would send me a tape, VCR tape, of this thing he watched. It was a show. And it was when people wanted to what's the word? When people wanted to change a particular piece of, this one guy had a shed in his backyard. It was his old shed. It was going to fall down. But it was deemed historically relevant. So he had to go to this town council to argue whether he should keep the shed. All right? This is, I'll never forget that. The arguments. He said, look, this is going to fall down. It's going to kill somebody. But you don't understand. And there was some relevance to whatever it was. It was a zoning hearing board in the UK. It's the best television I've ever seen. Do you remember Great Public Access? This is something that was the most wonderful thing that we had on television. Public Access TV was it was wonderful. And you have especially bad public access. It's wonderful. I've been through a spiritual, how do I say this? A spiritual not a Hajj or some kind of a trek, but I'm coming back and I'm reassessing everything that I'm doing. Have you ever been through this? Where you're saying this is everything we're doing is wrong. Everything is wrong. It is time to change everything. Have you been through this? The way you see things. Do you ever feel as though you're just butting your head? Do you ever get to the point where you say, what am I doing? I feel like this. Absolutely, drastically, politically, socially, not emotionally, but politically and socially and what's going on. I feel as though we have hit an impasse here. And that what I am doing, and I've never felt like this before. I'm hitting a place, I'm hitting a position, I'm sounding like everybody else. I'm saying the same thing. When I want to do something that is of a notion or a level that's a little deeper, a little more, I can spend some time. And thank God for it. I can go to this. I can go to my private channel, which is the most important thing to do, and which I use and which I can spend some time doing. Let me give. Oh, I got to tell you this story. You're gonna love. And by the way, this is that. This is the. I've got to tell you these stories. They may mean nothing to you, and apparently they don't, but to me they do. On my private channel, there's a section. My private channel deals with a commentary, a reference, a news story, which can come from anywhere, and a musical reference. Like, here's something you haven't heard from us, something that I'm interested in. It might be from everybody from Gil Evans to Danny Gatton to who knows. And then all of a sudden, people were saying to me on my private channel, by the way, I can't comment. When I'm trying to comment, it says I've commented too much and I haven't commented. Really? Yes. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I do not know that. I did not know that. Okay. So I went and I checked with the people doing this. I said, why is this so? And they said, there is a new device. Listen to this. A new security device that we had to put on, which deals with not ham-fisted, but brute force attacks on something or other. And because of the configuration of this, it is overreacting to people and misinterpreting them as being such and such. Interesting. So I said, but it's you have it too sensitive. Okay, well, we're going to turn this off so that this, make a long story short, people right now, if you have a website, are under attack constantly by bots and by whatever. For what? For reasons nobody will know. And it's interesting. And when you say to somebody, this is the reason for this, I just got this information, I just got this letter from such and such, people will say, oh, that's not the reason. The reason why this is because of this. Because what I'm saying, because what you're saying, because whatever is so important and so critical. I said, no, I don't think so. I think, believe it or not, so this week I have been, like I said, it's only been 4 days, immersed in a world of just technology. My world, everything I do is technology. Going someplace and saying, I don't know if I can hook up with this hotel. I got this VPN. I got to change it. Oh my God. Customer service. Dealing with hotels, looking at people, watching them. Oh. This is the thing that I wish I could have. When you walk to the restroom or back on a plane and you look and see what are people doing. The number of people reading books, very few. Some reading, electronic books or ebooks. But have you noticed the childish games that people play? The games, the childish games that people are playing. Grown men playing little, look, it's a free country. My God. And there's also something too. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. Airports. You've never seen anything like this. When baggage carousels come out, why don't you want to stand at the position where the suitcases come out? Why do you want to wait for your suitcase to make this mile-long trek to get to where you are on the other side, where your suitcase could ostensibly be taken, picked up? There's no security. Nobody's matching anything. You just grab things. And I just wonder about that. Why don't you stand here? Why? Incredible. Why? And have you seen the suitcases people have? There is not one suitcase anymore that does not have wheels on it. You realize that, right? You do realize it. There are none. And I know this sounds crazy. I know you're saying, why is he talking about this? Because I will say this for the rest of my life. The greatest structural addition to everything and anything has been the use of wheels. And how this design was missed for all these years, I do not know. I have no earthly idea. And another design which I find fascinating, which I might actually invest in, and I've been looking, not wanting to do this for a long time, and that is, of course, the what am I trying to say? The neck guard, the thing that you wear, that donut that keeps your head from dropping. Fascinating. How long did that one take? That's all. If you're in the airline business and you have to go to airports, my sympathies to you. My sympathies to you. Absolutely. And if you're a traveler, if you have to travel on business, my heart goes to you. Dear God, I don't know how you do this. I really don't. I mean that sincerely. I do not know how you do that. I am back right now. I am decompressing. I'm going through things and trying to get back into shape. I want to thank you as usual for being a part of this. I want to remind you again. I'm going to say this again. I want you to listen very carefully. Listen to me. Again, we are going to be at the Cutting Room Saturday. I can't put into words what's going to happen when I hit that stage. That's all I'm going to say. I've pinned the description above. It is there for you. I thank you. I wish you a great and a glorious day. We'll be back tomorrow, same bad time, back in our usual routine. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patronage and tutelage. And thank you for not only being who you are, but what you appear to be. Until then, my friends, same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. See ya.